real lessons, real experiences from real people, if I must add. So thank you everyone for joining. We'll make this as interactive as possible, as real as possible, because we said no presentation, no slide. So the slide you're seeing on my screen is just because I want to project about BYP. I want to project why we are here and a little intro of our speaker. So don't worry, the slides will be out in a few minutes. So thank you everyone for joining. Okay, so yes, so our webinar topic is 2025 wrap, real lessons, real wins, real you. So we want to wrap 2025 without pressure, but with perspective, with learnings, and look forward to a better and amazing 2026. Now, to those who are new to the BYP Speaker Circle, BYP Speaker Circle is a part of the BYP Network. BYP Network was founded in 2016 by our CEO, Kike Oniwinde Aguru. And the purpose of BYP Network is to provide a platform that connects Black professionals, Black students with career opportunities, job opportunities, networking opportunities, whatever would help people grow, Black professionals grow. That is what BYP is all about. So that's why we have BYP chapters in Lagos, in UK, in US. We have events, we have global events, in-person events, and we have webinars as this just to contribute to the Black community. So I did mention earlier that the BYP Speaker Circle started in April, and we've touched on different topics. In April, we started with, if you're stuck in April, how to move forward. We've talked about finance. We've talked about mental health. We've talked about the power of connection, networking, and branding. We've talked about no wasted time. And this time we're wrapping it up with experiences from our speakers. So quickly, I'll just introduce our speakers on the call. So we have, apologies, we have Shanara Hibbert. She's a careers, well-being and executive coach and a national athlete. We have Samuel Lee, managing director, financial coach, mental health advocate, and also coach. Then we have Dr. Marlene Duroso, who is a leader, coach, financial expert, and author. And we have Dr. Mame Afwa Nikabs, who is a communications expert, a career coach, and author. We have four other amazing speakers: Diane Thompson, an executive coach, leadership consultant, and founder. And we have Ose Owusu Kwame, who is a pharmacist, speaker, and health content creator. And lastly, not the least, of course, we have Frank Awuku, who is a change catalyst and a keynote speaker. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are very happy to hear from you this evening as we, for most people, wrap up the year, and for a few others, or many others, see how we can push and make 2025 still the year we had set in our goals when we started in January. So before we start, I would just like to hear from our attendees in the chat box. If you are to put in one word or in a sentence in the chat box, how has 2025 been? I don't want to say how have we wrapped up the year, because we have 28 days, and that's a lot for a lot of things to happen. So from January to November or till today, in one word, in one sentence, how would you explain your year? You can drop it in the chat box if you want to talk. We're happy to have you unmute yourself and speak. So how would you say your year has been so far? Amazing, good, better than expected. Would like to hear from you in the chat box. How has your year been? Good, amazing, still expecting something transformational, eventful, great. We'd still like to hear a few more. How has it been? Good, but also challenging. Okay. A few more before. How has the year been? Good. I'm waiting to see best. Victorious. Okay, great. That's different. Waiting to see a few more. How has the year been for you? Good, but a struggle to get better. How has the year been? I want to inspiring. Okay. Um, boring, encouraging, motivating, challenging, transforming, revealing. I think I've seen some words that I wish the those are responded can explain. Revealing, good, but a struggle. Okay. From the responses we've seen so far, okay, there's still more. Lots of completion on open tasks. That's progress. That's great. Validating. I feel like asking everyone, like, what do you mean by validating, revealing? What was hidden? I just scary. Wow, that's that's interesting. Scary. Oh, okay. I think from the responses we've seen so far, I feel that the 28 days we have left, I feel a lot would happen so that when we meet in the new year, I'll be seeing better responses from everyone. Um, I know the year has been not so great for some people, but what's like scary is not something that would wish on anyone. And we do understand, and we are hopeful with you, Daisy, that before the year wraps up, you'll be able to share more positive feedback for year 2025. So now I would move on to hearing from amazing speakers. I don't want to say speakers because we said real lessons. We've seen a lot of interesting comments on how the year was. So I think Frank has caught my attention. So I'll have to ask Frank, how has the year been for you? I see the word revealing. So do you want to share the lessons or the moments that has made the year revealing? And if there's anything that you could have done, would you have changed it so the year would have not been as revealing as it was? Or are you fine with the way the year has gone so far, being a revealing year? Happy to hear from you, Frank.
Cool. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon as well. I put revealing. I like to use words that say a lot but say nothing at the same time, so it can get people's minds going. I say revealing because a lot of things happened, and revealing for me in terms of my resiliency, the capabilities that I have, that didn't necessarily come out until events happened. So, as an example, earlier this year, I work as an external consultant. So I was on a project where I was working more or less 12-hour shifts a day trying to get this project done. We more or less did 6 months of work in the space of 2 months. And this was meant to lead into something bigger. So I was like, okay, cool, put in the graft, we'll do this, we'll get it, we'll make it happen. And then when everything was said and done, my name was not on the roster to actually do like the 2-year program. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I kind of was left in the lurch with no role, and I'm like, what's going on? But then again, it's like, okay, fine. I'm not going to panic. I'm going to keep calm and just live life. I started organizing, this was towards the summer, so I started organizing a family holiday because I'd been working like throughout. I'm kind of a workaholic at times. So I don't take time off. So I decided to focus on family, to focus on the small things in life, and then think about how I might take a next step. And that's where I transitioned from actually, rather than being a contractor as a profession, actually spin that into my own consultancy and win my own business and actually do the work that I actually want to do. So it's revealing in terms of I've always spoken about it, but I've never really done anything about it because work has been good. And I was forced to actually make a move, which has brought me in contact with many different people that I wouldn't have engaged with in the beginning. So it was revealing for me in terms of my inner strengths that I didn't realize. I mean, many people will come across me and think, "Oh, Frank, you're fantastic," but I'm like, okay, well, I'm dealing with a number of things. I'm trying to balance everything with family, with career, aspirations, etc. So I say revealing in the sense of a lot happened, but I also learned a lot. Hopefully
Thank
that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That leads me to my next question. So, um, um, with what you shared, what happened was not a pleasant experience. If you were to look back and change the hands of time, would you have preferred to be on that project that your name was not on, or are you fine?
I would still say yes because it taught me a lot. Like, um, working as an independent contractor, you're thrown in at the deep end all the time. But this was in a sector that I wasn't familiar with. So I haven't worked in financial services sector for about 8 years. So being thrown in the deep end in the financial services sector, trying to work out what to do, working with senior leadership, running workshops with the CEO and his like senior leadership team, trying to figure out what they should do and what the next 5, 10 years looks like for them and doing all of that in a very, very short space of time was an amazing experience. And it stretched me, again, revealing that I didn't think, at times, we didn't think we would make it. It was a lot of fudging stuff, a lot of making stuff up. So I'll wake up in the morning, probably around about 7 a.m., having meetings, doing work on the train, get there early. It's like the slides are not necessarily finished yet, but you're just working hard. And then you go into the meeting. First half of the meeting, they throw you curveballs. Right, okay, within break, everyone's having lunch. We're there trying to figure out, okay, how do we do things going forward and how do we manage the second half? So it was a lot. It was like 110 miles an hour. But I wouldn't change it for anything because it stretched me beyond my limits. And I'm grateful to have had that experience. Now I know that my capability and my limits are beyond what I know them to be, and I can be stretched further should the time come or whatever. I
Thank
wouldn't
you.
change it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Frank. I'm happy to say that um, because the year was revealing, you were able to discover more of your potential. I see Shanara said the year was validating. Whenever I see the word validating, I'm always careful who we got the validation from. Is it validation from people or did you validate yourself? So we would like to hear from Shanara how the year was validating.
Thank you. So I was in the background typing away actually because of one thing that Frank said, because I was just about to say the amount of times as a business owner I've said yes to something and then I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll work it out. And what you said there resonated with me. I was like, the amount of times I've done that this year, I'm like, yes, I'll do it. What am I doing? I don't know. I'll work it out. So I got that. In terms of validation, I'd say, so at the end of last year, I wasn't overly happy. So at the start of that year, I'd said that there were changes I was going to make. By the end of the year, things would be different. I'd be in a different position. So for context, I was working employed and self-employed. Employed with working with one-to-one with Olympic and Paralympic athletes and their lives outside of sport, which I did love. And then also working on my own business as well. So coaching one-to-one and workshops and training. And in athletics, I compete in triple jump and that was going fairly well. So I had an injury in 2021 where I ruptured my Achilles and had surgery and was on crutches for 6 months. And I managed to come back from that and compete again and win another national medal, which was good. But I wasn't back to where I was previously in terms of my performance. So that was frustrating. So I got to the start of this year and I thought, okay, I'm going to actually make the changes that I feel like I maybe should have made last year. And if this is going to be my last year in athletics, because I've done it for quite a while and I wasn't sure what my body could give me anymore, then I'm going to enjoy it and I'm going to make sure that I'm healthy as well as basically make sure I'm healthy and make sure that I'm not competing but feeling pain essentially. And then as a result, this year I did do a massive personal best, got back on the podium, the UK Championships, which was amazing. Rose up the UK all-time list. And I also earlier this year left my full-time role to work, left my employed role to work fully self-employed. And for me, it was validating, recognizing that by putting my health and my goals first, I then gave myself the capacity and space to achieve them. And that, yes, I am who I think I am. I just need to give myself the space to actually grow into that. So I'd say it was validating myself and recognizing that actually to get to where I needed to go, I may have had to let go of what I thought that needed to look like or what that should look like in order to get there.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shana. We're very happy that you are back on your feet, and we're happy to celebrate your win. And similar to Frank's story, a challenging situation has led you guys to start up something on your own. I know most times we hear such stories of people being pushed by challenges to start something on their own, which makes entrepreneurship looks like it's a bed of roses, which we know is not. So now I'm seeing Samuel's comment that the year was victorious. So I'd like to hear if his story would also tilt towards starting something on his own, as we've heard from Frank and Shanara. So
yeah, thank you so much. And again, I can relate to Frank, I can relate to Shanara. It's not easy. It's hard work. But what I love about working for myself is I get paid to work for myself and I get 100% of the pay. And when I say it's victorious, it's because I've been working for myself now. I left my job in 2016. So Shanara, well done. I was clapping for you because I know that's not easy. I was in the I was a civil servant for 18 years and I'd done lots of other things. And so to make that jump into being my own boss, working anytime I want, is hard. Well, it's difficult on the brain, but you've done it. And the reason the year was victorious was because I've tripled, quadrupled my income in the last year since February to right now. But the reason that happened was because of the work I did in the previous years. So I'm able to travel to several countries this year, been able to do the things I love to do because I put the work in. I worked hard over the last few years. And now this year has probably been the most victorious since I left my job in 2016. So that was why I put that in. People are like, wow, Sam, it's great. You're here, you're there, you're doing all that. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you didn't see me grafting the previous years. You didn't see me drinking Gary the years before. So it's about that more than anything else, really. That's why I was victorious, just being able to see the results from previous years.
thank you. Thank you very much, Samuel. I think what you've shared would be encouraging because I know we've seen the comments on how the year has been so far, challenging, good, but a struggle. So what you've just shared now, I guess would give hope to those comments that there'll be a time where you would struggle, there'll be a time where there'll be challenges. But as Samuel is sharing now, those years are way gone, and now he's saying the year has been victorious. So no matter the struggles you're going through, no matter how challenging, boring the year has been so far, there would also be a time where you'll be asked, and you said the year has been victorious. So we're just saying keep hope alive. Even this year, there's still a lot that can still happen. And of course, there's still more years for you to look forward to. So now I'd want to ask Dr. Mame, is there anything that has happened this year that you feel you should have not allowed happen? Is there anything that has happened this year that you're thinking about and you're saying, how did I allow this happen? How did I miss this opportunity? Maybe I would have done X, Y, Z to have changed that situation. Anything that has happened this year? Anything comes to mind?
Well, that's a tough one. But can you hear me?
Yes,
Can
but
I be
the line is
heard?
breaking. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, please? Oh, it says
No,
connected.
we're struggling to hear you. I
I
guess
don't know if I can make. Hello, can you hear me?
yes, better. We can hear you now.
Okay, okay. Yeah, my line is breaking up a bit because I'm in Ghana and the internet is not too great. So you would have to permit me. So I think I was saying that's a very difficult question to answer. But looking back, I sort of all the things that happened earlier on in this year, I made a decision in September to relocate to Ghana. And I said to myself, why didn't I do that earlier on? Why have I been stuck in the UK all these years? So that's one thing and literally every day when I wake up, I ask myself, why did I make this decision earlier on? Because despite the fact that it has strengthened me, it has just opened me up to a number of opportunities I didn't even think existed. I've done things I didn't even believe I could do. So my answer to that question is, why didn't I move to Ghana earlier on?
So I guess sometimes those tough decisions because if that we feel what will happen if you take it, because most people relocate from Ghana to the UK, but coming from UK to Ghana, that's a very tough one. But we're very happy that, like you said, why didn't you make that decision? And we're happy that you've made the decision, and of course you have numerous opportunities. So I'd like to ask Dr. Marlin, I did see your comments. I know in the US you're still at work. So I guess your comments is still around the career space. As you said, if you look at 2025, you would say you have closed out on a lot of open tax. In terms of the 9 to 5 space, we do understand what it means to close out on a lot of open tax. But now, in terms of other areas of your life, would you say you have also closed out on a lot of open tax, Dr. Marlin?
Yes, I have. And I resonate a lot with, Samuel's comments as well, because oftentimes, when you are a bit more present, especially online, or you have a little bit more time, everyone's like, oh, you're everywhere, you're doing everything. But all those times before when you're grinding, not sleeping, not feeling well, dealing with everything in life, no one really sees that. And it's not their fault because oftentimes we don't post, right? When things aren't like, nice and shiny. So I have been able, when I look back on 2025, I have been able to close out really, really important tasks. One of the big ones was completing my doctorate. I successfully defended my dissertation. It was almost 5 years. It was a long time. So in the midst of that, just really trying to be done, right? And closing that for me just opened up a world of just opportunity and being free and being able to do things more without worrying about the assignment is due. I have to go to the library and things like that. So that's such a big, big deal. And you are correct, because at work, I was also able to close tasks. We got all of the taxes filed, which was very, very important. So, and just in, my personal life, just with the business, I agree with Dr. Mami, where she mentioned, well, why didn't I move to Ghana sooner? In my case, it's why didn't I hire my executive admin sooner? Because oftentimes when you do have a regular job, or trying to build your entrepreneurial career, one kind of finances the other, but then you feel like, when is it going to get to the point where, I can do more or make more or whatever the more is for you? And I was doing a lot of business development, a lot of free master classes, listening to the experts. And one of the things they mentioned was, in order to move forward, you need help. You can't do everything by yourself. And oftentimes, especially as women, and I know some men are like that too, you just feel, well, I'll do it faster or better if I do it myself, or I'm already paying for all of this for the business. I can't afford, to bring on, an executive assistant to pay. And one of the things they told me was, the minute you bring on help, you'll be able to do more, which means get more clients, which means the VA will pay for herself. And That's exactly what's been happening. So there's just so much. I don't want to take up too much of the time, but just trust and believe that whatever you start, and I love the advice that you gave to the other attendee, where, you know, this year might be the year where things just aren't getting done, or it's your ebbs and flows, but then you look forward to the year when, like me, this year is my everything is getting closed, like everything is getting done, and I'm totally appreciative of it, and I can appreciate the journey so that I'll be able to inspire other people as well. So lots of closed tasks over here. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marlene, and congratulations. Diane, I know we saw the word inspiring, and most times they're like, oh, I know the word inspiring. We know what inspiring means. But for someone to say their year has been inspiring, there's a lot going through my mind. What did the year inspire you to do? Or what did the year inspire you to do to others? So as you answered, I would also like you to also, just as you said, the year was inspiring. If you were to pick out one thing that you said this year has made you learn more about yourself, what would that be?
That's a very good question. So I think sometimes when we think about inspiring, we think that everything has gone well and it's been a perfect year. But for me, it's been a hard year, but it's been hard, but it's been equally inspiring, because I've had to step into my power. I've had to push through when it's been hard. I've had to remind myself of my purpose. I've had to be consistent. I've had to practice what I preach. So in the same way, you know, what I'm preaching to my coaching clients, I've had to live myself. So that's why it's been inspiring for me. And like many of the panelists, it's so true, just in terms of the work that you do behind the scenes that nobody sees. Nobody sees the grind. Nobody sees the struggle. And for me, it's been interesting because I left my job as a head teacher in 2024, so August 2024. So it's been, you know, over a year since I've been, you know, doing this, giving this my all by myself. And it is inspiring because I'm living my purpose. I'm living with integrity. Every day I'm getting up and I'm doing what's important to me, and I'm growing, and I can see my growth. I can see moments where I'm pushing through, I'm staying committed, I'm showing up, even if it's hard. And all of the choices that I've made, they've helped me to be a stronger version of myself. And the work that I'm doing supporting leaders, supporting women, particularly through their own challenges, that's inspired me, because when I see them blossom, when I see them grow, when I see them rise, that inspires me as well, knowing that, you know, I'm empowering others, I'm supporting others to make a difference in their own lives. So, you know, it's been inspiring in lots of ways. I've had to just you know, make changes, you know, look at my plan A, my plan B, my plan C. I've had to do different iterations because I'm still figuring things out for myself. And that's inspiring for me, because I'm not somebody who's pretending that I've got it all figured out, as it were. Every day I'm growing, every day I'm learning, every day I'm reflecting. You know, I'm connecting with new people. I'm stepping into spaces where I haven't necessarily had an opportunity to step in before. So for me, that's inspiring. So that's what I'd say is inspiring for me, and why it's inspiring. And that's the vein that I will continue to go on with in December and in 2026 and beyond.
Thank you very much, Diane. Yes, we're happy to hear that. Although you the year was a hard year, you decided to use the word inspiring. So I think that's what I would want, maybe Samuel or anyone that would want to share with the attendees, because we did see the comments. The year was a hard one for you, but rather than putting the word hard, you use the word inspiring. So we've seen a lot of comments around the year being challenging. And I know that when people use the word good, most times there's a lot hidden in between the good, because if the year was a great year, you would hear great, you'd hear best, amazing. But when they use good, there's a lot they don't want to say. So for people that have, I'm sure many people chose not to drop those comments. So, like it's the job market. I did see a comment around the political space, around DEI. So there's a lot that really happened this year. So I don't understand why people would say the year has been challenging or not really how they had planned it to be. So what's that word? Because like you said, the year was hard, but your word was inspiring. What's that if you were to speak to them as a coach one-on-one, to the person that said that the year was challenging, the year was not great, what's that word you tell them as we wrap up this year?
Well, I would say, sit with the feeling that it has been hard, it has been challenging, it has been difficult, but lean into that and think to yourself, okay, so despite all of the challenges, the hardship and everything else, what inspiration can you draw from that? Is it the fact that you still manage to get yourself up out of bed every morning? Is it the fact that you're able to empower somebody? Is it the fact that you, despite everything, still focused on your well-being? You still grew, you still developed. So that's what I would say. I think when we think about hardship, sometimes it can be all consuming. And sometimes when we face setbacks, a setback can be a molehill, but when we look at it, sometimes from a different perspective, it can look like Mount Everest, and actually it isn't always. So I think it's about having perspective. So it's about having perspective. It's about thinking, yes, it's been hard, and I own that feeling and I sit with that feeling, but now I need to also look at where can I draw inspiration from this situation.
Thank you very much. It is okay to sit with the challenges, but of course we do need to draw inspiration from it. So I'll leave this open to everyone. So
I just wanted to share on that. I think for me, one of the things to be aware of really is your goal. What do you want? I mean, there's this thing where they say if you don't have, how would you know you've arrived if you don't know where you're going? So what are your goals? What that gets you up in the morning? For me, whether it's snowing, whether it's the hill, whether it's my car is covered in, doesn't matter what it is. I've got a board, I've got a vision board in my bedroom that I look at. I've got it on my phone. I've got it on my laptop. I know exactly what I want at this time of the year, this time of the year, this time. So for me, it's challenging, it's tough, but you've got to have that vision. Where am I going? What do I want? Put a time, put a date, put the actions. What are you going to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? Who's going to help you? What are you? For me, it's about the goals. That's number one. What do you want? Where are you going? And I think if you do have that, the challenges will come, but you just look to your right, your goal is there. You look in your front, is there. You're going to do it, but you've just got to have that goal.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Yeah, Frank, yes.
I would add on to that to say sometimes you don't know what that goal is, and I speak to many people who just don't know. And what I say to that is go out seeking inspiration. You can get inspired by many different things. So as you're out and about in your day or just your morning, be open to be inspired and noticing what you gravitate to and take note of it and potentially have a start of a blank canvas or board or somewhere you can write stuff down and start putting things on there. And sooner or later, it will start to take shape in terms of what it could look like. And then you can develop that from there. So if you don't know what it is, and that can be a lot of people, start somewhere and figure it out as you go along, because things will start to gravitate to you when you decide to actually put it at the forefront of your mind. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Frank. Okay. Yes, Dr. Mame.
Yeah, I hope my internet is good now. Can I be heard?
Yes.
Thank you. So I've just started a series on lessons we can learn from Moses. And I have seen from my own life that anytime I face a challenge, it's really an opportunity to become more, because you are stretched. And it's a perspective you have towards a challenge. And I have had to relearn and tell myself that challenges are part of life. Now, if you look at people who have done great things, you realize that most are able to birth a lot in us if we give it the opportunity. Now, I said that I was in the UK, and one of the challenges I had midway was they changed the immigration laws. So I lost my residency. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? I mean, because I had never thought about it. But in that moment, I was able to reinvent myself. And I'm like, this was a challenge. I didn't even know where I was going to begin from. But the gifts that has brought me, my work now is built on that gift I got out of that challenge. So let's embrace challenges and sit with ourselves and ask, how can I turn this into gold? How can I birth? It's probably pushing you. Look, Moses became a leader, and I'm sure one of the greatest leaders we can have is Moses. Through that challenge, bringing the people out of slavery, out of that, and it was such an uncertain and difficult period in his life, but that birthed him out. So I just want to encourage everybody who's going through a challenging moment, keep your head up and see it as an opportunity to release yourself and birth something beautiful that even prosperity would thank you for.
Yeah.
That's my contribution.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Mame. And we're very happy to see that the light at the end of the story with you coming to Ghana from the UK. And I'm very sure because we have a lot of attendees from the UK, and most people from African countries. I'm sure when we see the word challenging, most of the times linked to immigration. So I'm very sure this would encourage one or more persons. So we did have Shana. I think we have Dan's hands up. So we're happy to hear from both of you.
I'll just jump in. So I can't raise my hand for some reason. I don't know if it's because I've forgotten how to use Zoom or what. But I was Googled it, I couldn't find it. So I just thought I'd just message you, as you know. But the other thing I wanted to just add was sometimes, so when I think of my goals, I'm quite clear. I set process goals. I tend to set process goals rather than outcome goals. So there may be a big thing I want to reach in the future, but I usually set what I want to do to get there. And one thing that I find that I respond to well is thinking about how I want to feel, not necessarily always what that goal looks like, but how I want to feel along the way. Do I want to have capacity, or do I want to feel well? How do I want to feel when I'm interacting with my family and friends? What do I want to look back on and celebrate or feel good about? So it might be that there may be something else you want to access rather than just the goal itself in terms of when you're setting your goals. And one thing I found really helpful in terms of overcoming challenges this year is just allowing myself capacity. I have a tendency to try and fill my time all the time, but there's been a lot of things that have happened along the way this year that I'm glad I built in capacity for. There've been family members who've been ill. There've been people who've passed away. I've been in a car accident. There's just been so much stuff going on in the background in between the things that I've achieved. And because I've left a bit of space to deal with that, it's meant that I can sit and process it. Whereas sometimes I think if you fill your time with everything, then it's like you don't really have time to deal with all the other stuff that's going on because you just can't drop the ball with anything. So yeah, those are the two things I wanted to just add. And thanks for seeing my message.
Thank you very much. I don't know if Diane has something to contribute, but otherwise, thank you everyone for your contribution. So I know we all are referencing the word challenges. And I'm beginning to ponder. So when we set our goals for the remaining days in the year or for the new year, do we have like a space where we put expected challenges? Because I think the way we are all saying it, expect challenges. When the challenges come, put your head up. It makes it sound like there's a place where we have planned for those challenges, or there is, I don't know, like there is a resource somewhere where when those challenges come, there is something a link you can click and you get the answers. Because most times, I'm sure people on the call be like, we hear you. When the challenges comes, lift your head high. When challenges come, don't give up. Like Dr. Mame's story from the UK to Ghana, and she's thriving. She's doing amazing. Now it sounds easy because I think now she has gotten her foot in Ghana. But I'm sure when she was in the UK and she heard about that new policy around immigration, it wasn't easy. I'm not sure she was talking about, oh, let me come to Ghana. When I come to Ghana, it will be amazing. But that's how we're making it sound. So my question to everyone would be, is there something that you feel you should have known earlier as you are planning for the remaining days in this year and towards the New Year's? Is there something that you wish somebody had told you? Because we're all saying when challenges come, put your head up. How do we do that? Is there something that you wish somebody had told you earlier before you had encountered those challenges that would have made it easy? I'll leave it open to anyone who wants to contribute.
So I would say that, I mean, when I'm planning my year, I definitely don't put a space for challenges. What I sometimes do is one might prevent me from achieving my goals, the goals that I've set. And when I'm setting my goals for the year, I don't put a space for challenges. But the thing with challenges, like the immigration issue like this, some of them, this is what it wasn't expected, it wasn't planned. Government changes the policy. But I think the one thing that helped was that I had a tribe. I had a reliable group of people. I didn't go through it alone. Sometimes you just need someone to share what you're going through with. And if it's a prayer, a word of encouragement, so have that community. Don't do life on your own. That's not how God designed it to be. One thing that helped me through my season as well was my faith, my belief that all things work together for good. So if you're a person of faith, that's also one way to go through challenges. But I'll definitely see, I think nothing in this world prepared me for that kind of challenge. But now looking back, I see the gold in the challenge that I faced. I wouldn't have been here today if I didn't go through that. So my response is have a tribe, have a supportive community, pour into people so that when that time comes, you can, it's a give and take relationship, and support yourself. My family was there, the collective tribe I had, those things would save you for life.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Mame. Would like to hear from you, Kwame.
Thank you very much, Blessing, for this talk. I've just been listening to every single person's experience in the year and just been soaking in. I would say mine came in a mixed bag, in the sense that I think this year has been one of my most productive and one of my most daring years, because I've sat in rooms that I never expected to actually be in this short period of time. I knew eventually it would come. Some of these rooms were sitting around the roundtable discussion to have a conversation about the future of how mental health of young people could be supported. And it was around the table where global CEOs, where we were all having this kind of conversation. And I was one of the few young people who had the opportunity of sharing their ideas and the work that they are doing currently. And I contributed immensely for them to actually understand, for me to even challenge some of the current steps that are being put in place, which from our perspective as young people are not being effective in solving the problem. And I believe it's not something that actually start well with some of them. But at the end of the day, I actually had that thought in my mind that it would not be comfortable when it comes to solutions. It's not every single person is going to agree with what you said. But when I actually look back, I come to the realization that it was a good thing that I did, because it was agreed by majority of the people around the table. And if it was something easier or something that would not yield a solution, I believe a lot of people would have actually agreed. And it really made me feel motivated that leadership going forward is not something that would come easy. You will have people who will challenge your decisions, but because you believe in it, you have done your research, you know that the answer that you have contributed to is something that could possibly be one of the solutions, it made me feel happy that I made that bold step and not keeping that to myself. And it was just a short period of time that this opportunity came, and the amount of minutes that was given to us to actually pitch was something that I never expected that I would be able to gather my thoughts together, although I was prepared. But I could have been starstruck because they are CEOs, but as a young person who is a mental health advocate, clinical pharmacist, and also a podcaster, which my podcast is centered on changing the narrative surrounding education of mental health. It was something that I believe could be classified as one of the most daring things that I did this year. And also, I remember the question that you asked, that do we allocate a slot for challenges? So with me, every single morning, I pray this prayer. As a Christian, we classify ourselves as warriors, as prayer warriors. And there is not going to be any warrior who will never go to a war, because for you to have the title warrior, it means you've gone to a war and you have defeated whatever obstacle. So every single morning, the prayer I pray is that I don't eliminate the existence of challenges that I may experience in the day or in the year. So I pray to God that He gives me the strength to be able to overcome any challenges that I may end up encountering, because I believe that there is no one on this platform who will ever say that they have had a smooth journey when they are actually trying to build something new or trying to move from one phase to the other. It will come with the challenges, but the mentality that we all have to develop is we shouldn't run away from the challenges. We should learn, even in the darkest moment, ask yourself, what are these challenges like teaching me? Not every challenge comes to crumble you. Not every challenge comes to destroy or scatter everything that you have built. Some of these challenges bring the real resilience and the strength in you. And that is something that with me throughout my whole life I've actually developed, because the moment you tell me no, I'll find every single moment to tell myself that yes, I can do it. And eventually it can actually happen. And I think someone dropped a question within the comment section about how do you find the right person to build something with. This year, it's been one of the things I've been contemplating. And I believe if people look at my titles, they'll be like, how can this guy fit everything in his whole schedule? I came to the realization that it's not everything that I can do. And if I really want to build it in a more quality way, I need to ensure that I bring people on board. It's not easy to trust people, but I think Samuel gave one of the traits, integrity. Find people that you have actually crossed paths with and you have got an idea of who they are. You cannot have the overall 100% overview of who the person is, but you can have a hint and you can actually pray to God that is this person going to help me build? You check their track record. What have they done? What can they contribute? And it's something that I decided last month, November, that going forward, this December, which is going to be one of my busy time in terms of content creation, I need to bring someone on board who already does that, who will be able to bring new ideas on board and we can actually build. And so far, over the past few days that I've handled the work with, the interaction that is going on around my podcast and my content creation has been phenomenal. So that is something that I have actually taken on board this year and I'm carrying forward in 2026. And when this evening I checked my Spotify Wrapped, last year that I started a podcast that had only one country of listeners. This year we have doubled it to become 2 countries. So it means that it is the succession of all the stuff that I'm learning and doing it right is also contributing to the success and everything I'm doing this year and beyond.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kwame. We're happy to hear about your inspiring journey. It just shows that leadership, of course, would always come from a place of preparedness. To wrap up the evening, I would just want to hear from us if I know we usually say, experience is the best teacher. But one thing I've learned over the year is that experience of others most times is the best teacher. So as we look forward to the remaining days in the year, And 2026, in a minute, if you are to give an advice to a younger you, one person, a close friend, what advice would that be as they plan towards the new year and as they push towards the remaining days in this year? So we'll start from Kwame and we'll take it on to every other speaker.
The
In a
advice,
minute.
yeah, the advice I'll give to my younger self and anyone on the platform is keep persevering, keep being daring, and remember that the day that you plant the seed of the great stuff you're doing, it's not the same day it's going to germinate. It's going to take some time for it to grow. And the fact that you have not seen the outcome of it in 2025 does not mean you need to give up. The moment you give up is the moment that that seed you have actually planted will not grow back. As you continue to water the seed, they'll continue to germinate. And as time goes on, you will end up reaping the fruits of your labor. So just keep going.
Yeah, that was wonderful, Kwame. I would add I would tell my younger self or anybody else to just start. Oftentimes we spend so much time contemplating and wondering and maybe and what's going on. You just have to start. Just do it. Just start. And once you start, be intentional with your time so that you can finish. And I say intentional with time is because sometimes things will come in your way, those unexpected challenges, all the things. But I think it was Diane that said, you don't expect for things to happen, but when you overcommit with everything else that's going on, right, then you don't find the time and you are not at capacity or whatever the case may be. So start, be intentional with your time, and just know that you're going to finish because you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, mine would be, as you go into 2026, do you have your goal defined? I'm always going to go back to the goals. Do you have an advertising campaign to yourself? Because they advertise to you all the time. Just watch TV for 10 minutes and there'll be an advert there. Are you advertising to yourself on a daily basis what you want? And ask yourself why. So why do I want this? Why do I want this? Why? Ask yourself that at least 6 times just to break it down and know exactly what you want. But what do you want? What's your goal? That's got to be number one. Thank you.
I think mine will be, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So mine will be to my younger self, that quite shy young lady who didn't quite believe in herself. That look, believe in yourself. You have something to offer. Speak up, take up space. And to everyone listening to me, that if you are keen on leadership or becoming everything that God created you to be, develop influence. Is the one skill that would help you achieve so much more. And lastly, learn how to communicate. It opens doors even faster and better than talent.
Fantastic. I would say simply keep calm, even if you don't know what it is that you want or what it is that you're doing. Keep calm, pray, ask God, be as specific as you can. And if you're not specific, just ask what you know so far and just get started from where you are today. And then refine that ask, be more specific as you get more information and keep doing. The more you do, the better you get, the further you'll go.
Well, I would add to that just by saying that it's important that you have clarity. So get very clear around your values, around your goals, around your boundaries. Make sure that you're consistent in everything that you do. And just get cracking. Just get cracking. Put one foot in front of the other and keep moving, because no matter how small the steps you're taking, it will get you to where you want to go to eventually. But just like Dr. DeRusso was saying, you have to get moving. You have to just, so it's, for me, action, action, action. That would be my advice. Take action, be consistent, get cracking.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for the lessons. Thank you very much for the experiences. I'm very sure that this has been an insightful one for myself, and I'm sure for everyone on the call. Happy to hear from your experiences. Happy to hear from how even experiences beyond this year. It just shows that the remaining days we have in this year, a lot can still happen. It just shows that, of course, in time, I'm a Christian, so in the Bible says there's a time for everything. So from all what we've heard from all the amazing speakers, it shows that there's a time for everything. There's a time where you would have those challenges. Of course, there's a time where you'd have that victorious, that amazing year. So you just have to keep going, like Diana said, action, action, action. So the many days in this year, those goals that you still had set in January, still putting your best to see what you can achieve in these remaining days. For the ones that you can achieve and are still important, of course, feel free to roll them over to the new year. But one thing you should never do is you should never give up. From all the experiences we've heard from all the amazing speakers, there were challenges, there were victories, there were challenges, there were a turnaround, there were challenges, of course, there were testimonies. If you don't go through those challenges, if you stop at the challenges, you would never see the other side, which is where you have the victory, which is where you have that good news you're expecting. So as we wrap, we've not wrapped the year that year. We've wrapped the speaker circle for the year. Take your time, sit down, and as Samuel said, advertise yourself. So we see the advert on TV, on social media. What are you advertising to yourself? So as we wrap the year, let's take time to go through all those learnings. But once again, I really do appreciate your time and the learnings that we've all taken from this session. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Dr. Mame. Thank you, Dr. Marlin. Thank you, Kwame. And thank you, Shanara. Do have a lovely evening. And for Dr. Marlin, do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everyone.